Well, I think spring ball is always a great time because it's probably the biggest opportunity to grow, not only as an individual player, but as a team. And you're not having to win football games and game planning, so you're really advancing as a player, both fundamental and technique-wise. And I remember, being at Auburn University and then the University of Houston as a player, and it was your opportunity to compete and to produce a resume and put your resume on tape. And so, as a player, I think we're all excited, to be able to start anew, to be able to create hope for the future of a new season, and to improve fundamentally and technique-wise. So I can remember specifically being at Auburn University with Pat Dye, and then being at University of Houston with my dad, and having the biggest growth moments of my playing career during the spring. Yeah, year one, it was all the coaches. It really was. You were teaching the standard. You were teaching the culture. I've always believed if everybody in the building can't say your culture, then you don't have one. And if you ask any of the 188 souls that are in this building what our culture is, they're going to say tough, disciplined, and united. That there's a toughness, there's a physical and mental toughness to this game. There's a discipline and accountability to each other that there has to be. And you have to have team over self. And you have to teach that, and we did in year one. Then in year two, some of the guys started taking over. It was kind of a mix. And then now in year three, under new leadership with Coach Heiss, we were so fortunate to have Coach Steiner for 2 years. Now we got Coach Heiss. He has just raised the level of that, with the players kind of leading the way now. So it's something that I think you have to focus, and you have to reteach and relive your culture each and every year. But really what's nice is those guys that have been within it for 2 years, now coming into 3, they know the expectation, the standard, and now they're being vocal and leading it. And that's when you have what you want as a team. Coach App was made for this role and has kind of been the guy in waiting. It was the way we originally set it up when we first came here 2 years ago, was to have Coach Ellis be our offensive coordinator. Knew Coach Aplin would be the next offensive coordinator when good things happen and guys move on. And Coach App has just stepped right in, and it's been such a smooth transition. When you don't have to change system, you don't have to change terminology for the players, they just continue to grow. And his leadership mimics what Brian does. He is in the trust relationship business with the players. The players trust him. He's created great relationships with them, and you can see it on the football field by how they're progressing. App was a big part of putting together our third down package over the last 2 years. And when you look at our third down efficiency, we're in top 25 in the nation in that. So having the availability to be a game planner, have been a former offensive coordinator at North Alabama, he's made for this role. He's doing a really nice job.
Really exciting. I think it was a moment that, when you're in this profession, you always, you've got dreams and aspirations and things you want to do, and in this profession you never know. And just extremely excited. I probably screamed pretty loud in my car. I was pretty fired up. I joke about all the time, this is the closest I'll ever get to playing quarterback. I really enjoy that aspect, and there's really nothing like it. And so very, very, very exciting for myself and my family to be in this situation.
Yeah, you're on the ball, you're number 2,
You play the quarterback position, you just tend to see the game a little bit different. There's a big picture aspect of it, and I think the one thing that I do love is being able to give these guys experiences, and also I think it also allows you to teach them from your own mistakes, which a lot of times, in my opinion, are the best ones. We have successes, but it's the mistakes you have to learn from. It's the failures. It's the when you hit the downhill slope, talking about ways to find the way to climb back out of that hole. And those are the things I pride myself on, is teaching those guys from that perspective. And I think it's invaluable. I think the experiences that you gain on that field, and not only in football, but you learn so many life lessons. We joked about the other day, I think the one really cool thing as a coach is coming off the practice field, making a correction as a staff, implementing that in the next practice or the next meetings, and then going out into a live period and that moment click for a young man and having success. And so that's what brings you joy. Them starting to feel the light, them starting to click, and not just on the football field. I can give you 100, but we've got guys right now excelling in the classroom. Guys that when they first got here in their first couple semesters may have struggled, and now we got guys that are all AB, honor roll, and so those moments are really cool. And ultimately, that's it's a big reason is teaching these guys from our experiences. That's why you get into it. I was fairly young. I think I was 27 when I took over, when I got that job, and I had to plan on what I wanted to do and who I wanted to be. And I think so a lot of it is those experiences on calling games, in game day. We were in a really unique position. It was a Division II program that was transitioning to 1AA, and so we were in a 4-year no postseason ban. And so from a football standpoint of finding ways, a lot of weeks you're facing an FCS opponent and you're a D2 team, so you are a little bit outmatched at times, and we had some really good football players, so I'm not saying that by any means, but learning how to put my guys in really good situations, giving them a chance to be successful, not putting them in a downward situation, and so I think learning how to find uphill battles, maybe that's some of the scheme stuff, but also learn to really implement things in practice that transition to game day. And then obviously calling plays. I think, game days like the draft, you can prepare all you want, but there's scenarios that you're gonna run upon sometimes that you got to do a great job of being prepared for, and not just as a coach, but preparing your kids for. And so I think that was something I learned a lot, is different scenarios that have come up in games that, maybe I wasn't fully invested in. Maybe I took a little bit of time, but I should have taken more. But I think just the aspect of getting out there, calling plays, adapting on the fly, again, it's like playing quarterback. And so it's one of those realms I feel really comfortable in, as probably more than I thought I would my first year. And so just excited to be back in that seat and get a chance to kind of get with these guys and go make it happen.
Well, Nick's a huge piece of being able to make sure that our guys recover and rehab in the right way. You have injuries and you have surgeries, and you have to have that rehabilitation, which he does a great job of. But what doesn't get seen is that preventative rehab that he does to be able to keep a Jalen White, durable, and being able to take multiple carries through a very long season. He does a tremendous job with his crew of support in that room. I think our players have an unbelievable trust in them. You always see them doing the extra things that are needed to prepare the body within our training room. I think we've thoroughly advanced this spring technology-wise, and being able to help our players with some of the key instruments that can help them keep their bodies in tune. So very thankful that Nick is with us and a part of us at Georgia Southern.
Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday we practice, so our staff's typically in about 6 a.m. My name is Nick Sparacio. I'm the head football athletic trainer here at Georgia Southern. You get to see some of the guys about 3 times a day, depending on how they're doing. So we see them pretty frequently. You definitely have to take the time and get to know each individual person. You want to be able to encourage them, and learn more about them as a person rather than just their injury. I think that helps build that trust. I think education is a big piece, having them know exactly what's going on with their body, what are the potential outcomes or pathways to get back from injury, and what are the potential pitfalls or bumps in the road that not necessarily that they will, but can occur along the way, so that their expectations are clear and they have a clear understanding of how we expect things to go. If they know that up front, they kind of know what's coming, and I think we're a valuable resource to them to be able to lean on. We're trying to do everything possible to try to prevent injuries, whether that is utilizing the guardian caps, prehab programs, extra recovery tools and resources to kind of get the guys soreness relieved and get them ready for practice every day. So we're always looking to grow on a daily basis and have that mindset, whether it's personal or professional growth, to help the kids out on a daily basis, or bringing in some new technology. We brought in some technology both in the training room and in the weight room. We'll be adding some more technology this summer to help with the guys' recovery. So I think that'll help us this fall a great bit. I think you just have to embrace it from the start. As soon as camp starts, it's going to be 4 long months. But I think with football, having the rhythm of week-to-week schedule, I think we all look forward to the games on Saturday. So I think that makes it go by much quicker. On the sidelines particularly, it's like controlled chaos. You got a lot of people, players, personnel, coaches, you got the game going on, and then, you got the sounds from the fans and everything, but we just try to take everything in moment by moment, and if we're called into action on the field, we're prepared and ready to do what we need to do. When you do get into the deep weeks there towards the end of the season, it is a grind. Sometimes the training room can be full, but that doesn't change what our job is. We still have to do, exactly what we were doing from day one, and making sure these guys get all the care and recovery that they can from a day-to-day basis. But I think the Saturdays are always something to look forward to, seeing these guys get out there and play and do what they love to do. So Coach Helton and our administration here has just formed and embraced a culture where these kids can trust anybody that they're coming into contact with, whether it's on the field coaching or the equipment staff, support staff, training staff. And you can tell that everybody in this building trusts each other to do their job, and the athletes can sense that. When everybody's empowered to do their best every single day, that's great for the morale, the culture, and it just gives everybody a sense of camaraderie and just want to do their best every day. So I think it helps build that trust.
We're very fortunate to have Coach Trickett here. Here's a guy that not only has coached the tight end position, inside receiver position at a very high level. You remember that he had a Mackey Award winner with Harrison Bryant at FAU, but also has coordinator capability, the ability to bring ideas. Co-coordinator at Florida Atlantic, offensive coordinator at Marshall. So not only is he a master of his craft at coaching that inside receiver tight end position, but also he's somebody that can bring ideas and game planning on a day-to-day basis with his background in coordinating.
Yeah, Coach Trickett and I have a prior relationship. Met each other while I was at Auburn. Just like it is in recruiting, it's about relationships. And so we also, him and Coach Rip Rowan had worked together, so there was obviously a prior staff relationship as well. But I think it was something that was really easy. We've known each other before. We've kind of a little bit stayed in touch. We've seen each other at the convention, kind of back and forth, and you kind of pick up where you left off. So it's been a great transition. He is a phenomenal football coach. He is extremely brilliant, was a heck of a player, and kind of that same role as I wanted to keep that aspect of the quarterback vision in that tight end and inside receiver room. I think you see it from that perspective, and then him being a coordinator provides a lot of value for me as a play caller to have a guy who's seen it from that perspective, where him and I can relate and bounce ideas on back and forth. He sees it from the same picture, so that's been exciting. I think the guys have been fired up. They love him. Some of them have joked that I hired him because him and I look alike. But he has been phenomenal. I couldn't have been happier. He's got great energy. I don't know if you watch him in practice, but he is flying around, running around, fist bumping, chest bumping guys. And so it's been a great year. I think we got to upgrade in that tight end and inside receivers room for sure.
Good job today. Let's go. Josh down. Hey, let's go, baby. Way to compete today. Elites on 3. 1, 2, 3. Elite.
Well, I think it's still, the offensive line's still a work in progress. You can rest your head on the pillow at night because of those two interior players with a Pishon Wembley who's started every game he's been here as a true freshman, and then you got Chandler Strong, who I think may be the best center in our league, most athletic center in our league. We're very competitive at the other positions, trying to find a way a little bit because of injury. You look at a Bryson Broadway who's coming off a wrist surgery, was expecting huge things from Robert Wright. He's going to have an unbelievable career here, but obviously has a knee injury in this camp. So you're having guys that are kind of putting their resume on tape. A Caleb Cook, comes to mind, that was really playing good football before his injury last season. Now gets his opportunity where Khalil was last year at that right guard position. A Weston Wallace who moves from defensive line over to offensive line, just a mountain of a man, has really had a nice camp, and we're trying to just find our way right now, tackle wise. We've got a lot of bodies right now at the position that it's going to take another 35 practices. You're going to go through spring and you're going to go through fall camp and seeing who is playing best in the moment, but that's probably our biggest area of growth right now, is to establish those tackles going into game one. Yeah, Zach has been family. Zach was coached by my dad at UAB and has been a part of my brother's staff over the last 5 years, and the success that they've had. When you look at the number of pass attempts and compared with sacks, Western Kentucky was the fewest sack team in the country last year. So he brings a wealth of knowledge, and he's been in this system. So there's really no change for us. I've been very fortunate in our time here to have a Richard Owens and at Woods, and now to bring Zach Langford. It just continues that tradition of excellence that we've had in the offensive line meeting room.
Yeah, Coach Langford and I have a prior relationship as well. We worked together at Western Kentucky. I think if you look at the track record here of the O-line coaches and where they have gone from here, I think you see that we've hit it out of the park with O-line coaches, and I think we did it again. I think Coach Langford, like Coach Trickett, is brilliant. I think the one thing that he brings to the table, like we have had in the past, is he doesn't just see it from a box perspective. He played tight end, so he understands the pass game. He understands coverages and how that stuff marries up, which is extremely valuable to us as an offensive staff. And his ability to adjust on the fly is incredible. Just the way he sees things. I think anytime you step into a room where you're the third position coach in the third year, you naturally fight an uphill battle, and I think the kids have responded really well to him, which is a testament of his character and who he is as a person. And he's just a phenomenal football coach, and again, he's an even better person. Just really excited he's here and to get him back into his home state.
All right, thought it was a hell of a day by our running backs, guys. That day coming out here, boys are toting the rock. Now, we're going to have a lot of fun blocking for those boys. They run that thing like that, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of good runs, okay? So pat them on the ass. Great job today. Let's go get another one on damn Thursday.
Hey, hoes on 3, 106, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Win.
Being a part of a quarterback battle, you can really get both sides of it. I've been on one end and I've seen another as a coach, and it can be hard. But these guys handle themselves like pros, which makes the process a lot easier. And so, you've got a guy in JC who has been here in the program for multiple years now, obviously coming off a little bit of an injury from the end of last year. Just kind of catching stride. I think the one thing is he's still young too, so there's a lot of experience. This is only really his second spring. And so to watch him grow and develop and make his own mistakes, I think is going to be really invaluable for him. You got Dexter Williams, who's a guy who has transferred in for us that I'm also really excited about, a guy who has the most knowledge from experience standpoint of playing in a college football game. And again, he brings another element. And so him kind of getting his feet wet is a very big adjustment for him offensively from what he's done. I'm really excited where he's at. Again, I'm ready to see him kind of press forward as we move forward with spring ball. Colton, who has been here for multiple years now as well. Same thing. I think he's probably one of the most comfortable ones in terms of what we do. he's been in it the longest of most of the guys, and so excited where he's at. And again, he's got to continue to take his play to the next level. You have Kobe Walton, who's in there doing a great job. I think this is really his first spring. You know, anytime you redshirt, you know, you don't get quite the same reps as those other guys, you know, going through a fall schedule. And so getting him out there, getting some live reps, adjusting to the speed and the operation of what we do. David Dallas, a name you mentioned, a guy that's really exciting to see back out there. You know, it's been a long road for him, and to see him go out there and the level of excitement of just to be out there with his teammates is pretty cool. So again, same thing, excited. He's like a true freshman, you know, in terms of practice. This is his first real spring. Really excited kind of where he's at with those guys. And then you've also got Tyler Budge. You got the young rookie in there who's supposed to be going to prom here in a few weeks. I've been very pleased with him, you know, as a true freshman to come in and do some of the things that he's done at a young age. A guy who's still supposed to be in high school. I'm excited where he's at and kind of his continued growth. I think every day is a new day for him, and very exciting room. Again, I can't speak enough on these guys' character. We got great kids. They are pros in the way they handle their business. They communicate, they talk to one another. I couldn't have been put in a better situation with a group of guys that just love to compete, but also do a great job of communicating with one another.
Let loose. Go have fun, play as a team, protect the football, and I want to see y'all flying for the football today. Go extend plays downfield. You touch the ball today, go make something happen with it. O-line, we get in run situations, I'm calling runs. Go wear their ass out from the jump. Has everybody got me? Yes, sir. Now go put it on your resume. Go put it on your resume today. What you put on film today is who you are. So when you step on these white lines, it's time to go. Is everybody good?
Yes, sir.
Anybody got questions? Throwing Burgess, break us down and let's go.
Hey, let's go. Hey, love on three, love on three. 1, 2, 3.
The biggest thing for me is they see a unit from an offense perspective, a group that plays together, that's tied in together, that's on the same page, and then a group that plays with relentless effort and toughness, you know, which is our standard. It kind of goes back to TDU, toughness, discipline, and being united, and that's who we have to be as an offense. One, if you're not tough, you can't play here. On offense, if you're not a disciplined group, if you don't pull in the right direction and we're not all on the same page and we don't communicate, you're going to have a lot of holes and a lot of issues. And then if we don't play as a unit, if we don't play united as a group, and we're not playing together, and we're not flying to the ball, we're not picking our teammates up, and you're not playing out of love for the guy next to you, it makes it a really hard game. And so that is my hope going into fall on August 31st is for Georgia Southern, you know, fans to see this offensive group play as one, and play with discipline and be physical, not just in between the tackles but out in space. And if you come to practice, you'll see it. You know, it may not always be pretty, but we have guys flying around, being physical, playing tough, but they play as a unit, and that's when you got a chance.